welcome to EisnerAmper's Private Equity Dealbook podcast series. I'm your host, Elana Margulies-Snyderman, and with me today is Sean Christie, CEO, Carver Road, and Nelson Famadas, Managing Partner and COO of Carver Road Capital, a private equity fund that invests in hospitality services. Today, Sean and Nelson will discuss the transaction Carver Road completed with Emmy Squared Pizza. They will walk us through the process along with both the opportunities and challenges faced when it came to the transaction. Further, they will also discuss how they navigated through the due diligence process on the deal. Finally, they will share what Carver Road is looking for in a buy-side process to better ensure that both a mutually beneficial and efficient transaction can be consummated in today's economic and transaction market environment. Before we dive into the conversation with Sean and Nelson, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to EisnerAmper wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also find us on YouTube at EisnerAmper. Hi, Nelson and Sean. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So to kick off the conversation, love to hear from both of you, your career background and how you got to where you are today with Carver Road.
Yeah. So, we launched in 2021. Carver Road is a PE hospitality focused fund. We have a unique hybrid model where we operate our concepts within a holding company inside the fund. And then we participate in buyout opportunities and have management deals that require no equity yet derive fees for the fund. My background is I'm a lifelong, restaurant kid from Boston and, grew up through the executive ranks in Wynn Resorts and MGM Resorts. And Nelson and I, pre-COVID, started hatching up a scheme to launch the fund. And then, when COVID hit, thought it was a good time to raise some cash and go after, some opportunistic deals, which is how we started the fund.
And my background, very quickly, I've done a little bit of everything from working in television to working in real estate to owning marketing companies as well. Sean and I have known each other as friends for well over 15 years now. And as Sean mentioned, pre-COVID, we started talking about doing something together. COVID occurred and we thought this is a perfect time to actually launch a fund in hospitality. It hasn't been a boring day since.
Well, your transaction in Emmy Squared Pizza is quite exciting. And I'd love to hear the journey from start to finish on how you completed it.
Sure. And one of our LPs actually reached out to us and introduced us to Howard Greenstone, the CEO of the company, back in the summer of 21. We had just started the fund. We reached out to Regal Partners, our co-investors in the deal. We wound up closing the transaction in January of 2022. We felt an immediate connection to Howard, who's a great operator, 30 plus years track record. And it's been an excellent working relationship, both with Howard and the Regal team. The concept has grown from 16 locations when we closed to over 30 today with further growth ahead. So we're very, very excited about it. It's a great, great concept.
And more specifically, what were some of the greatest opportunities you saw with Emmy Squared Pizza?
Sure. It's several. One, being able to work with a larger fund like Regal Partners, working again alongside with Howard Greenstone, a proven operator. Great food, phenomenal food, great pizza, and even better burger, by the way. A great business model where you can go into second generation locations and be able to scale. So it's a concept where we feel that can grow to 300 plus locations across the country and just be your local quote unquote pizzeria or pizza place. So it's just been very, very exciting so far.
Making me hungry now. But all jokes aside, on the other hand, what were some of the greatest challenges that you were up against when it came to the transaction with Emmy Squared Pizza?
Sure. So they were a smaller operator and it's just perhaps not being ready to close quickly. So just having some patience, just having their accounting and their books ready from leases to IP to vendor contracts, that sort of thing during the diligence process and be able to close on a timely basis. And also keeping in mind that smaller operators, which we completely understand, have a challenging time, not just dealing with day-to-day operations, but also scaling as they were at this, rapidly, while also doing the diligence, which is very intrusive in the day-to-day process.
For the next question I had for you, you just touched on it, due diligence. Love to hear more details on the process when it came to completing the transaction.
Yeah,
You mean the fun part?
It was basically all hands on deck. Involved a lot of patience, some handholding that perhaps a larger deal may not have involved, and being flexible on the closing timeline. There wasn't a real need to close on a specific date, so that actually helped to do the process. But again, just being more patient than perhaps you would have been on a larger deal.
And as a follow up, Sean and Nelson, what are you looking for in the buy side process to better ensure that a mutually beneficial and efficient transaction can be consummated in today's economic and transaction market?
We're looking for people who and operators and companies that are aligned. We need proven concepts that want to scale. We add a lot of value because of our operational expertise. Hospitality is such a nuanced business that we need people to be aligned and passionate. And, because we're operators, you can look at a P&L and understand a company from a black and white perspective. But, because we might be connected by one level or two levels to the people with, references, maybe we worked with them, things like that. But at the end of the day, at the core of it, after we get through all that black and white, we need to do a great job in pleasing people having fun, having amazing food, and having amazing experiences.
Nelson and Sean, we've covered a lot of ground today and wanted to see if you have any final thoughts you would like to share with us.
Echoing off my previous comment, which is, look, we're active board members. We don't just come into a company and, sit there and show up once a month. If people need support, company needs support, which happens all the time, we want to bring the entire expertise of the organization into it to inevitably solve problems that come up all the time. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. We're in over 15 states. So, the other thing that we like to do and add is all of our portfolio companies and operating companies are complementary. So that's how we can really add value by sourcing deals. And we've already done this several times, but where we can place our products in the right environment. So ultimately we can please guests and the right ROI for our investors.
Well, Sean and Nelson, I would like to thank you both so much for sharing your perspective with our listeners.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
And thank you for listening to the EisnerAmper podcast series. Visit EisnerAmper.com for more information on this and a host of other topics. And join us for our next EisnerAmper podcast when we get down to business.